Good afternoon, dear faculty members. I request please inform your colleagues or friends to join the session. We have very let's participate today. So I request please inform them to join the session as soon as possible. We'll wait for 5 more minutes. We'll start at 3:05. So before that, I request please inform everyone to join the session. Good afternoon, dear faculty members. I hope you're all doing well. Mahisha, good afternoon. Is my voice audible?
Yes, ma'am, your voice is clearly audible.
Yeah. You can start the session, sir.
All right, thank you. So, good afternoon, faculty members. So, yesterday we have discussed like cloud deployment models. We have seen the cloud advantages, disadvantages, the characteristics of cloud computing as well. Today, we're going to cover about the cloud service models, the service level agreements. The moment we're going to finish those things, we're going to start with the introduction to the AWS platform, that is Amazon Web Services as well. And if the time, sufficient time is there, definitely we're going to, see the practical on how to create a virtual service on, the Linux and the Windows as well. So let us, move forward and start with, the service models, the cloud service models. The moment we finish that, we'll be seeing about service level agreements as well. How agreements are being made, with respect to customer and with respect to the service provider, and what kind of parameters, what kind of factors that influence the bad SLA. So we're going to see all those things in detailed manner as well. So let me quickly share the screen so that we will be seeing what are the different service models we're going to have in this particular, the cloud. All right. So what are exactly the cloud service models? So as I mentioned very clearly that there is quite what I can say that there is a big difference between the deployment models and the service models as well. The deployment models basically talks about how our data is being stored, like how we can manage our data as well. Like whether we are trying to store our data in the public cloud or whether we are trying to manage our operations in the public cloud. So how we are exactly managing our complete infrastructure on the remote platform is defined by deployment models. Then what about service models? Service models mainly talks about how well we are trying to access the different varieties of services from the cloud provider. We all know that we are completely dependent upon the cloud provider for getting the huge amount of the resources as well. So what category of services exactly we are trying to get from the cloud provider and how we can able to manage them. So they all are very very the important as well. So cloud service models simply, says that what are the different category of services that we are opting from the cloud provider, and how we are trying to manage them, and how we are trying to, use it as per the customer, the requirements as well. Because we know that we generally take different varieties of services from cloud provider. So we should generally categorize them. What category of service exactly we are opting from the cloud provider? So in order to make you people to understand very clearly about the cloud service models, I have kept a very good example here. Let us assume that you are quickly making some good dishes, like thinking of it like choosing how much you want to do yourself when getting a meal. So whenever you are trying to manage everything from your side, already I have explained very clearly about what are the main differences between the on-premises infrastructure and the cloud infrastructure as well. The on-premises infrastructure is completely about managing everything from scratch on behalf of customer, because here we are trying to cook everything from our side, that is cooking everything from the scratch, which is actually the traditional IT, or I can say that it's a kind of physical infrastructure, like where we are supposed to manage each and everything from the customer side. Since we are facing some difficulties in managing the infrastructure, that's the reason that we are actually moving to the cloud platform, because through cloud platform we can expect the better amount of services from the customer, from the service provider, where we can manage something on the on premises, some of the work, and some of the work will be managed by the cloud provider. When this is the scenario, obviously we can get the better performance for our business operations as well. The reason for introducing this cloud service models is not only to make you people to understand about, what are the categories of services that you are trying to access from cloud provider. The reason for introducing this cloud service models is that how much you are doing work on the on premises, what are the components or what are the hardware components that you are maintaining at the on premises level, what are the different things that you request from cloud provider. Like already we have three basic models, that is infra as a service, which is IaaS. We have platform as a service, which is PaaS, and we have SaaS, which is software as a service as well. Because we understand that whatever the infrastructure that we take from the cloud provider, so we need to categorize them. Let us assume that now, with the help of this cooking example, when you cook everything from your side, it becomes as traditional IT because you are arranging everything from your side and you are not depending upon the cloud provider for any sort of help. Somewhere you thought that you want to depend upon the cloud from cloud provider. So you have entire setup, but you don't have ingredients to cook that. So in those cases, you will be taking the ingredients from the cloud provider. If I talk about technically, you have application, you know how to manage the data of application, you have operating system, but you don't have the hardware components, or I can say that infrastructure components to manage your business as well. In those cases, we'll be going for infrastructure as a service. In the infrastructure as a service, we are being provided with the infrastructure from concerned service provider. Rest of the things, generally an application is not only made with the infrastructure. The application wants a platform for developing. It wants infrastructure to provision. Also, it should be available to the customers in the form of SaaS. An application is incomplete without these three components. So you do something on premises and something will be provided by the cloud provider. That is what exactly they mean to convey as well. So get ingredients delivered, that is infrastructure as a service. Order a meal kit completely, which is platform as a service. Just how to make, but you don't have a complete platform to make that. I know how to cook, but I don't have a platform from doing my cooking at my particular place as well. So in those cases, what I will do is that I will arrange everything. So it's simply just I will make it over there. So for that, I'm going to order a meal kit. So just I'm the person who is trying to make varieties of dishes. Everything will be provided by the backend support. So technically, you have a platform completely which is being provided by the cloud provider. What is the role of the customer over here? The role of the customer is that simply the customer will be basically deploying an application over the platform. The platform will take care of everything from scratch and it is being managed as well. That is platform as a service. If we talk about the SaaS, software as a service, already we are using many SaaS applications on day-to-day life as well, because SaaS is something that where entire application is completely managed, maintained by the cloud provider. Because whatever the application we are trying to manage, obviously we have to manage that particular application completely from the on-premises platform only, right? Now, SaaS means what? The entire software is being managed, maintained by the cloud provider, because the cloud provider is ultimately responsible to manage all the resources, okay, and even the delivery aspect as well. Then what is the role of the customer? The role of the customer is just a customer is a user. Customer can use that software where he can able to manage on day-to-day operations on the particular software that is being completely provided by the cloud provider. May know that what are the different example participants under this category. Any, I can appreciate that if you give some examples like about this SaaS. So what are the different SaaS applications which we are using on day-to-day daily basis? So what are the different SaaS applications? Like we are using like different SaaS applications because complete applications are managed, maintained by cloud provider. So what are the different applications that we have? The best example is that we are using our Gmail. So we are using Google Photos. We are having Dropbox. We are having Microsoft OneDrive, Google Drive. So these all are the software as a service because these applications are completely managed, maintained by cloud provider. So what I want to convey is that in the service models, what kind of services that you are trying to get from the cloud provider, and how you are trying to manage them as well, which is the very very important as well. Clear? So this is what exactly I want to convey to all the participants over here. The service models plays a very major role, especially like in the cost aspect as well. The reason that why I'm saying that it plays very important role in the cost aspect, because being a customer or being a company representative, I want to know very clearly that what are the services that are required for my business to process. Because if I don't know what are the services actually I'm opting, so definitely I will be in a trouble as well. Because even if I'm taking the services, let us assume that I want storage service for my business. Instead of storage, I'm taking database. In those cases, the cost of production will be increases. So that's why we have to take care about this particular aspect as well. So which is the very very important as well. And participants, then let us go to the next slide. Yeah. So here we have infrastructure as a service, as I said very clearly that. So infrastructure as a service, where entire infrastructure is completely provided by the cloud provider. Like the customer will take care of everything except the infrastructure. So there is a question here, then who will be providing the infrastructure? Obviously, the customer is responsible to provide the infrastructure. That is what they have been mentioned here. You manage operating systems for your company, for your applications, the data that is responsible to manage, and security settings. What provider will manage? Provider will be responsible to manage the physical servers, which means where you will be getting that physical server as a virtual server, because you are trying to access it from cloud provider. That's why you'll be getting as a virtual server. The data centers, entire hardware component, networking hardware, and the virtualization. So virtualization is also very important things here. So let us talk something about the virtualization, which plays a very very important role in the cloud computing environment. The starting day of the class, I have used one quotation. Cloud is not a technology. Cloud is actually an environment, because for the learning purpose, for advertisement purpose, people generally use a keyword called cloud technology. But in the reality, cloud is not a technology, participants. Cloud is actually an environment. Inside this environment, you are actually using the virtualization technology. What is exactly the virtualization technology? Let us introduce very clearly here. Let us assume that here we have let us assume that here we have one physical system. Let us assume this is my physical system, or I can say the physical hardware as well. Okay. So I am having my laptop. Whenever I am having my laptop will have some features as well. Like I will be having 16 GB of RAM. I'm having 512 GB of SSD. Okay. And I'm having octa core processor. All right. And I will be having some other resources as well. And ultimately, my physical system is holding the Windows operating system. So these are configurations of my laptop. Now, after buying this laptop, or after getting this laptop, I am using this laptop only for the Zoom meetings. I'm not using this particular computing infrastructure for not any other purpose. Simply, I'm using this particular computer only for the Zoom meetings. So participants, now think from your perspective. So if I'm using only Zoom meetings for using this computer, so do you think that many resources are getting wasted over here? Anybody can write in the chat box, yes or no. I'm using my computer only for Zoom meetings. So hardly Zoom meeting will consume 2 GB of RAM. So we have 16 GB RAM as a part of system, but we have only 2 GB of RAM. What about remaining 14 GB of RAM, which is actually usable to the customer? Where we are using this 14 GB RAM? Let us assume that 2 GB RAM is being used by the host operating system for managing the system applications. So even though 12 GB RAM is getting wasted, participants say me one thing: are the resources getting wasted or not? What do you say? Are the resources are getting wasted or not? Yes or no? Obviously, yes, because we are not consuming the more amount of the resources as well, right? Because whatever the resources, okay, we have to understand these specific, the things as well, right? So that's why participants, it's very, very important as well, where we have to, understand as well. So that is the main reason I'm saying that we were installing this, the Zoom meetings, obviously. So whenever I'm having these Zoom meetings, obviously these Zoom meetings will consume hardly, 2 GB of RAM. Okay. So many of the resources are getting, the wasted as well. Clear participants? So that is what exactly I want to, convey as well, because whatever the things are there, obviously we can able to, understand them. Clear participants? So that is what I'm saying that so chat box disable. Yeah. So I think yeah. So Sushmita ma'am, can you please enable the chat box because participants are saying that they cannot able to send the messages.
Sure, sir. I'll
Yes,
do.
ma'am. Yes, yes. So participants now you can respond in the chat box. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. So yes, so participants like we have Zoom, meeting here like Zoom application. So this will consume very less amount of resource. So whenever we are using this entire hardware only for Zoom meeting, many of the physical resources are getting wasted. So what others have proposed, what technique or what technology have come up is that people have come up with a new technology which is actually called as virtualization technology as well. So virtualization technology is nothing but simply a kind of simulations that we are going to make it up on the physical infrastructure. Let us assume that we have physical infrastructure. Above the physical infrastructure, we are trying to create multiple virtual machines. That is machine number one, machine two, machine three, and the machine four as well. So above this physical infrastructure, we are trying to create four virtual machines where we can use these particular virtual machines to process some tasks as well. So this is actually which machine? Physical machine as well. Above this physical machine we are supposed to create the multiple virtual the machines as well. So in this case participants, whatever the vacant resources, whatever the leftover resources are there, I can utilize this leftover resources with this all virtual machines. Total we have 12 GB RAM. So I will allocate 3 to this, 3 to this, 3 to this, 3 GB RAM to this. So this is VM1, virtual machine 1, virtual machine 2, virtual machine 3, virtual machine 4. Now I will be giving the definition of virtualization. What is virtualization? Virtualization is a process of creating multiple virtual machines on a single machine, creating multiple simulations on a single machine. What is actually a multiple simulation? Multiple simulation is nothing but like each and every operating system will be different. Like here I can install the Linux OS, Windows, Linux, Windows, Linux, Mac. Like on each operating system, we can install the different operating systems as well. Okay, so that we can run the multiple simulations as well on a single operating system, so that we can actually utilize all the physical system resources effectively as well, because whatever the things are there we can able to manage them as well, which is very, very very, very important as well. This is very, very important as we have to understand them very clearly. So participants now say me, through virtualization can I use the resources effectively, yes or no? Through virtualization, can I use the physical resources effectively? Obviously, yes, right? Because whatever the resources we're going to use, okay, under the virtualization, so we can able to better use the resources as well. That's why even we have cloud environment. Now, whatever the cloud environment we are having, cloud environment is also using the virtualization technology. Can anyone say me that how this, can anyone say me that how cloud environment using, how cloud environment is actually using the virtualization technology for, managing their business? What is the role of virtualization in providing the, resources to the customers through cloud provider? What is the role of virtualization in providing the resources to the cloud provider? What is the major role over here? So the major role of the the provider in terms of providing the resources is that even the cloud provider uses the virtualization for managing the resources. Like virtualization is not limited to only a single entity. Like we can virtualize a server, we can virtualize application, we can virtualize storage, we can virtualize network. Like when you run a virtual machine on your system, automatically your virtual machine will be getting the network as well, right? So the simple example I have given. So like that participants, it's very important that where we're going to have a physical machine. Above that, we're creating multiple virtual machines. Like even the cloud provider is going to save the cost because he cannot, allocate one physical server to one each user that, who is a part of their infrastructure. Even he want to save the cost because the thing is that whatever the resources we have, obviously these resources plays an important role as well, right? So this is completely the virtualization. Exactly, sir. It's a IaaS infrastructure, the virtualization. Okay. So participants, this is very, very important as well. Okay. So whatever the things are available here, we can manage them. So we can create a virtual machine directly. Okay. When you create a virtual machine, the backend support will be provided by the cloud provider. Okay. So through this, we can manage the multiple, the resources as well. Hope it is clear to everyone. So next one we have. Yeah. What are the common use cases? Testing and development environments, like whenever you want more amount of infrastructure, like we can also host the website using EC2 service, storage and backup big data analysis as well. These are some of the use cases where we can see the advantages, maximum flexibility and control. So participants, it is also one of the best point. The reason why it is providing the maximum flexibility is that how many hardware resources customer is requesting. Obviously, that many resources we can get from the cloud provider as well. That's why we are going to get the maximum flexibility as well. Next, we have the disadvantages. It requires a technical expertises because managing the infrastructure is not an easy task because you are depending upon the cloud provider for getting the virtual infrastructure. That's the reason that where you will be managing these particular things as well. Clear, participants? So now talking about the platform as a service. Platform as a service simply means that where the service provider is providing the platform, utilize that platform. Now I know how to dance, but I don't have a platform to dance. In those cases, what I will do? In those cases, I will be moving to the dance academy where they are providing me a platform to dance. What is the role of the customer here? The role of the customer is to dance. So in the similar fashion, in the similar kind of example, you want to code. You know how to code, you know how to write the code, you know how to test the code, but you don't have a platform to run that code. In those cases, the platform as a service or which the PaaS will provide the platform where you can able to upload your code simply. The platform will be taking care of each and everything as well. That is what they have been mentioned here. Provider manages the infrastructure, the operating systems, the development tools, databases, and middleware. What is your role? Your role is just to manage the application code and the data as well, because that is the role of the customer. Because the entire platform is being provided by the cloud provider, because that is the responsibility of the cloud provider as well. Clear, participants? So after that, this is 70% of the faster development time, 60% reducer cost. See, PaaS lets developers focus on writing the code, not managing the servers. For example, if I'm the developer, if I don't have any task, obviously I will be mostly focusing on, what I can say that on the development part. If I don't have any extra works, whenever I have some extra works, obviously I have to keep more efforts on that. So that's why the 70% of the work will be developed, a little faster because the developer is responsible only for developing the application rather than seeing or going for the backend as well, because the entire backend infrastructure is being provided by the cloud provider. Hope it is clear. Let's move forward. So like we can say that the PaaS we will have some pros and cons as well. Even like everywhere, we have two sides of a coin. So in the similar fashion, we have this pros and cons as well, like advantages and the disadvantages. If I talk about the advantages, faster development and the deployment, since The platform have their own, settings. So using those settings as well, we can deploy fast, but it will take some little time as well for provisioning the resources. No infrastructure management needed because we are not managing any kind of the infrastructure as well. That is what they have been mentioned. No infrastructure management, the needed as well. Built-in scalability as well. Like by default, the platform has a scalability feature. We know that why we are going mainly for the cloud, because to get the better scalability as well. Collaboration tools included, like you will be able to integrate your application with other AWS services. It doesn't mean that you will be working only on single service, right? Whenever you're working on the cloud platform, you can work for the multiple services simultaneously. The integrity of the services also possible over here. So next we have disadvantages, less control than IaaS. So where we are not having the more control over the resources. Vendor lock-in concerns, like where we are going to have the vendor lock-in concerns as well. Vendor lock-in means, like I already said yesterday's class, that vendor lock-in is nothing but where you will be having the issues with the one vendor to the other vendor while migrating or while managing the infrastructure as well. Limited customization options, since the entire customization is done by the cloud provider in terms of settings. So where we are not focusing more on the settings, so that's why we have the limited customization options as well. And also it depends upon the provider's reliability, how fast how fast the cloud provider is providing the services to the customers. That is very very important as well, right? So that is what exactly participants like where we have to understand the things. So we have this limited advantages and the disadvantages as well. Hope it is clear to everyone. Now we have software as a service. In the software as a service, the SaaS delivers ready to use applications. I already said you very clearly. SaaS is most beneficial, or SaaS applications can be used in the scenario where you don't have enough time to develop, where you don't have enough time to manage, or you don't have a good, well equipped team. So, in those cases, this SaaS is actually the more beneficial as well. So that is what they have been mentioned. SaaS delivers the ready-to-use applications over the internet. No installation, no maintenance, just log in and start using as well. Because you will be just downloading an application from the cloud provider and you will be using that. Because the installation is not a big issue, right? So, like we have a simple example, like we have Gmail. So we are not working on the updates of the Gmail, right? So rather than working on the updates of the Gmail, we are just looking after, okay, we are just looking after how to work with that as well. So that is a major thing that where we have to, understand and where we have to take these things into the considerations as well. So participants, so that is what they have been mentioned here. What are the different components that provider will manage? Provider actually will manage each and everything that corresponds to the particular, application as well. Like the infrastructure component we have, like we have, platform component, like we have application software, updates and security, the storage aspect, server aspect, each and every, component that is actually required will be managed by the cloud provider as well. Okay. So that is what actually we can see here. And these are the components that where the provider is trying to, manage as well. Clear participants? You just use it. So examples could be Gmail. So where we have the email service. We have Google Docs service as well. Like we have this particular service, which is being used across, and Netflix, which is also a streaming service as well, which is also very, very, the important as well. And Zoom is application. Now currently we are in the Zoom meeting. So these are the some of the applications that where we try to manage and where we try to use them only for just for the things that exactly what we want as well, which are very very important as well. So that is what they have mentioned. Here the provider is actually responsible to manage each and everything exactly the provider is, requesting as well. So here you just use it, whatever the services you want, generally we can able to use them. Even we can able to, get them as well. Okay. The provider manages each and everything that is actually required for a particular application. What is the role of the customer? The role of the customer is to just, what I can say that use that application and manage the data of that application as well. Now, let us assume we have Zoom. The Zoom applications, we are not supposed to, work on the updates of that. Simply entire updates will be taken care by the cloud provider, and we're not supposed to use any of them as well. Okay. So next to this is the restaurant experience. So the simple example, while you are planning, like whenever you planned a good, restaurant, dine. So there you no need to take anything from your side. You just go to the restaurant, just have a good food. Then you will be paying only for the amount of food that you are going to consume. So how much amount of food you are going to consume. So based upon that, you will be paid to the restaurant owner or whatsoever it might be, right? So they are the advantages participants, like easy to use, where we can access from anywhere. Automatic updates are being provided. Low upfront cost is there. Disadvantages like least control and customization. So since entire software is being provided by the cloud provider, so managed by cloud provider, obviously being a customer, we will be having the very, very less control. That is what they have been mentioned here. Least control and the customization, and also internet dependent. It is completely depend upon the internet as well, and data security and concerns, and the ongoing subscription cost as well. So because we will be paid for subscription other than free limits. So like if we talk about Google Drive, so it is providing 15 GB of space, and if you want more amount of space, you will be going for the extra. I can say that the space requirements as well. So that is what exactly participants, what I want to provide, and where I want to manage the things as well, which are very well the important as well. Okay. So quick summary, like the factor IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So control level in the infrastructure service, we have more control level since this infrastructure as a service will be used mainly for for getting the the hardware resources for our infrastructure. Technical skills, very basic skills are required in the SaaS, because the entire SaaS application is managed by the cloud provider. So you require very very less, I can say that skill set over here. And if you talk about cost factor, so all the three things are actually pay as per the use, but the SaaS you will be taking a subscription. For example, Netflix. So while you are using Netflix, you will be taking a subscription, and you will be paid only for the subscription that you are using as well. And if you talk about the cost of pass, it's a moderate, because you will be just using a platform, because entire code has to be developed by cloud provider. The cost of developing the code is more compared to usage. That's why it is a moderate. If you talk about IaaS, it is pay as per the use. That's why it is more flexible, because IaaS, you will be taking only the amount of resources exactly what you people are requesting as well. Clear? So this is all about participants, the service models. So hope you got clear understanding about that. So let us quickly check our knowledge, that what you understand from here. So participants, quickly give the answers in the chat box for all the three questions that were raised here so far. Okay, which model gives you the most control? IaaS, PaaS, or SaaS? If you want to build a mobile app quickly without managing the servers, which model should you choose? Name three SaaS applications you use in your day-to-day life. Okay. Yes, please provide the answers, participants, for all the three questions that were displayed over here. I request everyone to please use question numbers, so that I will be able to get that what answer exactly you're giving with respect to each question. Okay. Gmail, Netflix, Spotify, all that. What else? Very good. Gmail. So if you want to build a mobile app quickly without managing the servers, which model should you choose? Obviously, it is. What's the correct answer for that? Yeah, the second answer, most of the participants have been given pass. Excellent. Name three SaaS applications you use in your day-to-day life. Like one of the faculty members is saying Canva, Google Sheets. Exactly. So we use too many SaaS applications on day-to-day daily basis because those are actually important as well. Okay. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much, participants. Yeah, so with this, we're done with the cloud deployment. So the service models as well. So last, the topic of the basic concept is the service models, where we are trying to the cover up what are the basic concepts of the service level agreements as well. Okay, so just a minute, participants. So we have one more topic of the service level agreements, where we are supposed to see that, so that what is the relation between the cloud provider and the customer, we can see completely here. So participants, yeah, so we have this concept that is the service level agreement as well. Okay. So quickly, can anyone say like what exactly the usage of the service level agreement? Like we understand that the service level agreements are very important as well. The reason is that using the service level agreements, where we are actually trying to use kind of agreement between the service provider and between the customer as well. So SLA is a kind of agreement that is being made between the service provider and the customer as well, where we are supposed to have the service provider and where we are supposed to have the customer as well. So, what is the importance of these particular things? Like we will be having the service provider, we'll be having the customer as well. So both are trying to communicate with each other, where the service provider and customer will be there. So they are actually trying to communicate with each other. As service provider is completely responsible to manage, what I can say is that the complete, the services which are referred or which are requested by the customer as well. So the main benefit of or the main importance of service level agreements is that using SLAs, it provides a trust basically, because we know that whenever we are opting, like any kind of services from cloud provider, the most important thing is that SLA as well, which is the very important as well. So that's the reason that I have kept a little content on the service level agreements as well, because being a cloud cloud person, we should able to understand these agreements very clearly, because agreements plays a very major role here, because SLA is completely the agreement between the service provider and the service, the consumer as well. So let us understand quickly the differences between both of them. So we have these things. Okay. All right. So SLA is a kind of agreement between like what I can say, that's a kind of agreement between the service provider and the service consumers as well, because completely it is managed by the cloud provider. That's why SLA is a kind of agreement between the service provider and the service the consumer as well, because which is very important as well. Because the moment you plan to take the services from cloud provider, So since we are just a learners, so we will be just signing up for the AWS account, and we will be creating that simply. So SLA is the foundation of the consumer's trust in the provider. The trust in the sense that like where we will be having kind of confidence that this particular provider will be providing the better services than others in terms of flexibility, in terms of scalability, in terms of security. So we should feel better basically, right? So that's why SLA is a kind of foundation of the consumer's trust in the provider. Okay, and the purpose is that to define a formal basis for the performance and availability the SP guarantees to deliver. What are the different performance or the availability attributes where the service provider is actually providing? So where we can able to understand those aspects as well. So what kind of agreements, what kind of services that we are supposed to manage? So we have to understand each and everything as well. So that is what they have been mentioned here. SLA is the foundation of the consumer's trust. The trust is very important here. So, what are the objectives? Objectively measurable conditions for the services. Why they have mentioned here objectively measurable condition? There's a reason behind this. The reason is that here we try to measure the performance. A small example I am trying to provide here. Whenever you execute a database query, I hope everyone is aware of this, DBMS as well. Most of the faculties will teach the same subject. So in database, generally we search for the query processing time. That is very, very important, right? Whenever I write some query, select hashtags from a particular table. So it has to provide me the results in very, very fast. I can say that very fast mode, because whatever the query you are writing, the system has to capture those query, what the query exactly the customer is providing. So it will provide the response as per that. So that is what objectively measurable conditions. How much performance you are getting, we can measure that actually. Okay. So SLA and SLO, service level agreement and service level objective, they are the basis of selection of cloud provider, because we understand that objective is important and also the agreement is also important as well. That's why they are the basis of selection of cloud provider as well, which is the very, very important as well. And we have this SLA contents as well. So SLA contents, what are the type of contents that we can keep it over the SLA? A set of services which the provider will deliver. What are the different services the provider is being delivered? So we have to list out them very clearly. SLA contents means in the sense that while you are trying to make a document, what are the different contents that you are supposed to keep it up over here? Like a set of services which the provider will deliver. What are the different services the provider is being delivered? A complete specific definition of each service. Like for example, if I'm planning to take the storage from cloud provider, the storage will have different attributes as well, like how much storage they're providing, whether they are providing object storage, file storage, block storage, right? So we have to understand those particular, the components as well. A complete specific definition of each services, the responsibilities of the provider and the consumer. What are the basic responsibility? What actually the customer has to do? What actually the provider, the provider has to do? What are the different responsibilities we are supposed to have it? All these things are very, very, important as well. Set of metrics to measure whether the provider is offering the correct services or not, because we need to design the metrics as well under, considering the performance of different services using those metrics, like standard metrics like we have in the software engineering, product metrics, process metrics. Why we are designing these metrics? To measure ultimately the development process, all these things, the performance. For measuring those things, we're developing this particular process metrics as well. So analytic mechanisms to monitor the services, obviously, like which is a major important thing here. Auditing mechanism is also important because we need to audit the services which are being provided by the cloud provider, because we will be having agreement that the service provider promised me that he will be providing me 99 point some nines of performance as well, right? So which is the very, very the important as well. So this much performance the service provider has to provide as well, right? So these things participants we have to measure up. The remedies available to the consumers and the provider, the terms are not satisfied. So we have some terms and conditions. If in this case that suppose we are not standing our terms and conditions as per the agreement between service provider and consumer, obviously we have to provide some kind of remedies means don't expect that they will be providing you the different kind of thing. So remedies means in the sense that they will be providing some kind of credits. If I talk about AWS, they will be providing some credits. The Azure also does the same thing. So credits means they will be providing some points as well. Okay, whenever the things are not going well, when the performance is degrading, when the expected SLA count is not at all matching, so they'll be providing these remedies in the form of points, where you can able to generally use these points while paying the bill for the next coming cycle as well. Okay, so this is actually the kind of remedies as well, and how the SLA will change over the time. So participants, it's a time to answer from your side. Can anyone say me in the chat box, SLA is a static document or it's a dynamic document? Can anyone write in the chat box? SLA is basically a static or dynamic document. Okay, Charan sir is saying dynamic. Anyone else? Please provide your valuable responses in the chat box. Like how the SLA will change over the time. What is the scenario over there? Dynamic. Okay. Yes. Thank you, participants. The correct answer is the dynamic because SLA documents will be a static document. The reason is that the requirements of the customers will keep on changing as per the requirements of the document keeps on changing as per the customer requirements. What are the requirements that you have kept inside the SLA? Those requirements are not at all static as well. If our business is changing continuously, obviously there will be a change in the SLA as well, which is very, very important as well. See, availability of a service exceeds 99.9%. So this is the one of the SLO objective that we are going to measure up. Like whenever you take any kind of service, obviously we have to understand them, which is very, very important as well. Availability of a service exceeds 99.9 percentage. Response time of a database query queue is between 3 to 5 seconds, because here we're supposed to have the response time. And I have mentioned that I want that 3 to 5 seconds time to retrieve my query from the database whenever I opt to the database from the cloud provider. And the throughput of a server at a peak load time is 0.875 seconds as well. Even that is also very, very important as well. Throughput is nothing but speed. The speed of the server at a peak load time, at the peak time, the speed should be 0.875, the retrieval speed time. Okay. So these all are the some of the service level objectives that where we can manage the things as well, which are very, very important as well. Participants, this particular slide contains a valuable information. So please focus carefully on this, because these are some of the metrics, or I can say that for monitoring and auditing as well. First, the metric is throughput as well. Throughput is nothing but simply the speed as well, where we are going to have the speed of the server, how quickly the service responds as well, how fast actually the service response. It is very, very important as well. Next, we have availability. The availability is actually represented as a percentage of uptime for the services in a given observation period. So availability is being measured actually in such a sense that whenever you try to access anything from cloud provider, you should able to get that services quickly. So that can be measured as availability. So if I'm having good availability, it means the applications are working fine and where we can access them very clearly. Next, we have reliability. The term reliable means the consistent, I can say that, because whenever you try to access any services from cloud provider, they has to come across here as well. Okay, so this is very, very important as well. So the reliability is kind of consistency. The load balancing is nothing but simply balancing the incoming load as well. For example, let us assume that we are having actually the incoming load as well. Whenever I'm having some incoming load, this load has to be balanced across the available servers. Here we have server number one, here we have server number two. Whatever the load is there, the load has to be balanced across available servers. So here we install one ALB. ALB stands for Application Load Balancer. Whenever I install this application load balancer over here, so whatever the incoming load is there, the load will be taken care by the balancer. Now the balancer will act as a front-end IP address. So you are directly hitting the IP address of load balancer. Whenever you hit the IP address of load balancer, this load will be distributed across the available servers equally, so that there will be no disturbance in the incoming load as well. Okay, so that is called as load balancer. Durability is nothing but that the durability of the data, like the long lasting of the data. Elasticity, whether the resources are elastic in nature or not. For example, if I'm trying to access the resources, whether those resources are elastic in nature or not, I have to understand those things as well. And linearity is a kind of, how a system is going to perform as the load gets increases. So we know that, how our system, or I can say that how my system is being responding when my system load is getting, increases. If I'm having more stress, let us assume that I'm having more amount of, facing more amount of stress as well, or feeling stress. So during the stress, how I'm behaving. So I should also measure that, because now you are continuously sending the data back to back. I can say that to the data centers. So how these data centers are being taking, or managing the incoming request, that is also very, very important. Simply the linearity is nothing but how a system is going to perform as the load gets increases. When the load on the system increases, obviously the cloud provider has a scalable infrastructure. The cloud provider can take more amount of requests from the customer, and even they can able to manage clearly as well. Okay, and yeah. So the next one is that I have kept two services, EC2 and S3. So EC2 stands for Elastic Cloud Compute, Compute Cloud, and S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. Using this EC2, where we can create the virtual servers, virtual capacities, and you can use the compute capacity for managing your workload. Now I want to create a virtual server. Simply, I can create a virtual server with the help of this Amazon EC2 service. If I want to create a storage container, simply I will create a storage container and I will be uploading some data over the storage container, and I can access that particular data as well. Now, why they have mentioned agreement here? Let us assume that now we are actually taking the S3 service. Whenever I'm using S3 service, the availability should be this much. You can also ask me that's how we can measure that. We want to use the auditing. So in those cases, I will be knowing that during the retrieval of data in the real-time applications, how this availability could be, measured, there we can see as well. Because whenever you try to access this application, the availability should be 99.9%. It should be continuously available without any, downtime as well. So these are the guarantees. When you create a virtual server, the availability should be 99.95%. Means this much amount of time a server should be available to you during the access to, means it should be available continuously to you whatever the time they have been mentioned as well. These are the some of the guarantees that where the service provider is trying to measure it as well. Okay, you can mention each and everything that whatever the things you're supposed to manage as well. Clear, participants? So this is all about a little about service level agreement as well, which is very, very important as well. Okay, whatever the resources that we are supposed to take it up from the cloud provider, so we should have a clear agreement between both of them. Whenever I have a clear agreement between the service provider and the consumer, so we can run our business very, very smoothly as well. Clear, participants? So this is all about SLA. So yes, so we have now in between. Sorry to interrupt you, everyone. So we have one of the executive from the ExcelR team. So where they want to introduce something. So Susmita ma'am, so I'm handovering the session to you. So you can invite the speaker.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, dear faculty members, just for 10 minutes. Okay. Nityama, over to you.
A very good afternoon to one and all those who are present here. So I hope the session is going on well, and I see the comments and in the chat as well that all of you are excited and learning new um, concepts on the topic. So here I have just come in quickly to give you a little context on XLR's support or XLR's offering. XLR, today we are focusing on the real challenge, the complete disconnect between the classroom learning and the industry expectation. So here, XLR showcases itself to bridge that gap, and we operate not as a training vendor, but as a strategic partner for institutions. So our mission is simple. For the students, we would, those who are graduate, we would want to make them a graduate job ready, confident in the interviews, capable in projects, and prepared for the corporate roles. So, I would like to take a few minutes to discuss on the same. So, see, I believe that in on the launch day as well, I have highlighted a few of our premier institutions. How our work is validated by the institution that trust us, like IIT Roorkee, which was just not a generic workshop, but it was on time series analysis and predictive analytics, where we had the participants from research scholars to students to we had the faculties who were part of this training program, and exactly the kind of analytics companies use for the forecasting the sales, predicting demand, and optimizing operations were delivered here, and the participants were immersed in the models, data, and scenarios that reflect real businesses. So, similarly, we had the faculty development program conducted at IIT Bombay, which was on the full stack development. And again, here the faculties underwent the complete understanding on the full stack development concepts. Here, this was an initiative of its Pilani students initiative, wherein the students wanted to get trained on the Power BI and machine learning, and the participants, the students, underwent the training, which was completely on the tools, dashboards, machine learning workflows, which greatly from the perspective of tech companies and the expectation which was set by the students, it was delivered. So to align with this, we have few more offerings at XLR. So what we do bring to institutions is we bring structured training programs. We bring in the systems, we bring pathways from campus recruitment training, which is technical and non-technical with placement assistance, and Swayam Plus courses, curriculum map, credit-based programs for students, faculty, and working professionals, academy projects with practical learning in association with NASCOM meeting, and customized student development programs in technologies such as data science, AI, ML, Java, FSD, Python, FFT, Selenium, manual testing, data analytics, and many more. And also, we support the faculties to get them on the customized faculty development programs, which is as per the college requirements. And in addition to it, the premium technical training. So, on those lines, let's talk about the elephant in the room, that is careers in 2026. So, things have changed. Companies are not just lining up for bulk hiring the way they used to. The market has become sharper, the bar is higher. So, here the truth is degrees open the door, demonstrated the skills, get the offer, and this shift is only accelerating. So, here I have a few of our recent placements, the freshers today who have got recently um, chosen by the companies, which is here with the salary package. So I'll just hold it for a minute for you to quickly have a glance on it and then move forward with the other set of fresher hiring in 2026. So here we have the actual market scenario. The current challenges in the fresher technical hiring is fewer true premium roles, higher competition, companies avoiding the mass and low signal campus drives, strong preference for pre-assessed role-ready candidates, interview fatigue, and low conversion in bulk hiring. Backlog batches, 24 to 25 parcels competing with 2026 batch. So for this, XLR has a plan wherein a structured, consistent hiring model where the phases are the students onboarding and eligibility mapping, where the right student aligned to the relevant roles, technical and aptitude pre-assessments, early quality filtering, which is done by ExcelR, candidate shortlisting, a reduced interview noise, objective grading to improve offer to the interview ratio, hiring drive execution to fasten the structured closures, and the continuous hiring cycles, which is a year-long placement enablement. So on those lines, we have some specific roles the company is actually looking for, like software engineer, intern, member of technical staff, data analyst, full stack developer, data analyst, early career engineering role at different locations, and the tentative openings with the indicative CTC which we have given here. So all that which we would request you is to pass on this information to your students, and we would be reaching out to them and we will let them know how we do the entire assessment process or the pre-placement process. So here we have an XLR placement team who will share the LMS login credentials, just like how you have received the login credentials for the faculty development program. And for this, once the students register using their email ID, they will be given with a username and password, and they would be assessed with a 60 minutes aptitude test containing 25 multiple choice question, which is conceptual coding test of 15 multiple choice question and one pseudo code question. And the date and time, everything will be notified well in the community channel of XLRs. And the mode of assessment is online proctored test. So if you think that yes, my students should definitely participate in this, we would request you to scan the QR code and fill in your requirements as per the students which you have. And accordingly, our team will connect with you and help you out. So I'm just holding this QR code for some time, maybe for a minute or so. I would request the faculties who think that the students of their college should undergo this pre-placement process. Please scan the QR code, fill in the basic requirements, and then XLR team will reach out to your students and to you. For those who have any questions related to any of this discussion or the walkthrough which I have given for the last 5-10 minutes, I would request you to share it in the chat. We will revert shortly with these answers. I will also request the moderator, Shushmita, to share the link in the chat so that maybe later you can just fill in the form and share it to us. Thank you, team, for giving me a short time for a quick walkthrough on the XLR offering. And over to you, Mahesh.
Yes, so we are done with service level agreements. Hope everyone is clear about agreements concepts as well. So now I am introducing the concept of Amazon Web Services, the data center. So all the participants will be aware of how AWS data center are being constructed, what is the architecture of AWS data centers, how they are being managed across the globe. We'll be showing quickly using paint screen so that all the participants will be getting the clear understanding of that. So before that, let me show you exactly what is AWS quickly from official site of AWS only, because we generally follow the content from AWS itself. So that's the reason that we will be focusing more on the AWS as well, because AWS content keeps on updating. So we should never follow the third party sites. Rather than following the third party sites, it's better to follow the official website as well. So participants, welcome back. So with this, we're done with all the theoretical concepts that are actually required as well. Okay, for this particular course. Now we're going to start with introduction to the AWS platform. So participants, we have various types of cloud providers across the globe. Like we have Amazon Web Services, we have GCP, Google Cloud Provider, and we have Azure Cloud Provider as well. So every cloud provider has different varieties of services. Like AWS has a set of services, Azure has a set of services. Even the cloud provider has like GCP also have the different set of services. So what being a cloud architect or being cloud engineer, so they will be analyzing that which particular cloud service provider they have to take it up so that they can reduce their cost of company as well, which is the very very important as well, because at the end of the day the cost of infrastructure is exactly the very very important as well. So let us move forward and discuss what is exactly AWS and why AWS is one of the leading cloud provider across the globe. So we can also see the latency as well, that I will show you whenever there is a requirement. So first participants, we are actually selecting this Amazon Web Services because AWS is one of the the service provider where actually they're providing the different services to the customers as well. So that's why AWS will completely take over the the things that whatever the things that we are supposed to manage. So we will be managing everything on the AWS platform only. Now that's why before we are doing any task, before we are doing anything, so the most important thing is that we have to understand about their infrastructure. So AWS has a huge infrastructure, so which is spread across globe. So where we have to access that infrastructure virtually by sitting simply at our locations. So let's move forward and discuss about why AWS. AWS is the world's most comprehensive and the broadly adopted cloud. Not only you, not only me, across the globe multiple companies are taking or managing their business on the AWS cloud platform as well, because they are offering many services like in terms of AI capabilities and in terms of networking, in terms of storage. So they are being offered varieties of services to the customers as well. So that's the reason that where we have to understand about these things, that whatever the services exactly we are supposed to create, obviously we have to understand about that. For example, now today I'm going to show you how we can create a storage container on the AWS platform, how to upload the data on the cloud platform, and how to retrieve the data with the help of URL as well. So today we are going to discuss that. So before that, I want to spend some time on this AWS infrastructure. What is AWS? So participants, hope it is clear why AWS is one of the leading cloud provider. AWS has a huge infrastructure which is completely managed, maintained by the cloud provider as well. That's the reason that AWS is having the huge infrastructure, and which is the very very important as well. So that is what they have been mentioned here. Breakthrough innovations. So AWS is always committed to provide the industry first cloud capabilities for our customers, because customer is actually given the highest priority in the cloud, AWS cloud. Whatever the solutions the customer is demanding, whatever the challenges the customer is facing, those challenges will be solved through cloud platform. Why we are moving to the cloud? To get the workload done easily, to minimize the physical effort, the efforts that are put by the customers for managing these things. Generally we are moving to the cloud platforms as well, which is very very important. Security, you can trust participants. Cloud actually spends billions millions of dollars, especially on the AWS cloud data centers, because the data centers are very important. Because if anything went wrong, or if any servers crashes, if there is any electricity issues or the power cut issues or power issues, whatever it might be, I'm just saying examples. So it might leads to the security problems as well. So every data center is maintaining a well equipped security as well, because Google data center has 6 layers of security, starting from entering into the data center to till you come out of the data center. They are maintaining a huge security on their data center. So that's why our data is more secure as well. Like we are storing our data in the Google data center, right? So our Google data center is completely secured with the physical security as well as the digital security. They maintain huge amount of like security. They maintain the huge the security personals for managing their entire data center as well. Okay, so that's why even you get lot of things as well. You can also see the leading cloud innovators like BMW Group. So where it is completely working on the AWS. Like we have booking.com, which we can book the tickets and all these things or hotels through this. And we have Epic Games as well. Okay, Canva. Okay, and these are some of the important applications that are actually running on the cloud. Greatest choice, because AWS provides you complete flexibility, that whatever the things that you want to invent, whatever the the problems that you're facing, we can completely overcome those particular problems as well. That is the greatest choice. Largest and the most extensive global infrastructure. Just now I have said that AWS data centers are spread across the globe, where we can access like the resources from anywhere, anytime. So they maintain the huge global infrastructure. So next we have the trusted partners and the solutions. So AWS is going to partner and with the multiple companies as well. Like we have Red Hat Linux, like that. AWS also will partner separately with some of the companies to get the services to their marketplace as well. Okay, that's what exactly participant. These are some of the important things that where I want to convey. So why I'm saying all these things is that you should know that why AWS is the best platform. They are providing the good amount of solutions. They are having the huge data centers. They are having the good level of security. They have expertise people on their data centers, which are completely managed by the expertise people. So that's the reason that AWS is one of the best cloud provider across the globe as well. Now, what I will do is that quickly, what I will do is that participants, I will be making you people to understand today about, I will be actually making you people to understand the AWS data center as well. Just a minute. So I will be showing you how actually the AWS data centers are organized in the form of regions and availability zones. I will be showing you in the paint screen. Just a minute. Yes. All right. So participants, yes, we can see here now. I want to make you to understand first how AWS data centers are divided, because we are on the AWS platform. Since we learned the cloud concepts, now let us implement them. So in the real time, so that we can understand that how actually cloud works. So the cloud data centers are, first of all, they are actually organized into a kind of, the regions and, availability zones as well. Let us assume that this is entire globe. Okay, like where the AWS data centers are spread across the globe as well. So let us assume that we have different data centers that are spread across the different places as well. Okay, so participants, what I want to make you to understand is that here, listen very carefully. Now, these are the some of the regions. Let us assume that this is the AWS global infrastructure, entire world. Okay. In this entire world, AWS has constructed their physical data centers. So all the physical data centers are AWS has divided their data centers in the form of region wise. So AWS data centers are divided into the region wise. What is the region? AWS regions are nothing but a geographical area on the planet, or some of the space across the planet or on the area is occupied by the AWS platform. When I say that Hyderabad region, some of the space in the Hyderabad is being occupied by the AWS platform. Hope it is clear to everyone. So AWS data centers are divided into the multiple regions. A region is nothing but some of the space of that particular region is being occupied by the AWS to construct the data centers. We have Hyderabad region, we have Australia region, Singapore region data centers, we have US East region, US West region, right? We have Mumbai region. So we have all these particular, the regions as well. All these regions are spread across the globe as well. Okay, because at the end of the day, we have to choose a particular region to manage our workload. For example, participants, I said very clearly that all the data centers are divided into the multiple regions. Why I'm saying that all the data centers are divided into the multiple regions? Because AWS is not constructing the data center only in the single location, right? AWS is being constructing the data centers in the multiple locations. That's why we want the multiple data centers which are actually spread across the globe. So this is the concept of region. Regions are very big. A region is nothing but what? A geographical area on the planet. Some of the area is being occupied by the AWS data centers to construct the data centers physically. Okay. Now talking about one single region. Let us talk about Hyderabad region. We have AWS data centers in Hyderabad. So let us talk about AWS region. Every region is further divided into the availability zones. Zone number one, zone number two, zone number three. I repeat again, every region, this is Hyderabad region, a region consists of availability zones. This is zone number one, zone number two, zone number three. What is the name that I have given to these things? These are actually called as availability zones. From the name itself, what is availability zone? Whenever customer, for example, we have a customer, this customer is trying to get access to the cloud platform and he has chosen the Hyderabad data center because he is near to Hyderabad. That's why he has taken the Hyderabad data center to manage the workloads, right? Now, after choosing the Hyderabad data center, his workload or his access will be limited to one single availability zone. By the way, what is availability zone? An availability zone is nothing but an independent copy of the data center, an independent copy of the data center. So this is data center copy 1, data center copy 2, data center copy 3. All these three data centers are connected with each other, but they never share their infrastructure. This zone 1 infrastructure is different, zone 2 infrastructure is different, zone 3 infrastructure is also different. So every region is further divided into availability zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Now when a customers try to store the data inside this particular region, so the customer data will be stored in any one of the availability zone because the zone has to map to the customer, right? Hope it is clear to everyone. Now, the zones like 1A zone, we have 1B zone, 1C zone. Now, customer is trying to access zone number 2. So, the data will be stored in the availability zone number 1B. All these zones are connected with each other, but they never share the infrastructure. Copy number 1 having their own power and cooling. Copy number 2 is also having their own power and cooling. Copy number 3 is also having their own infrastructure. So all the availability zones contribute, to the infrastructure. So participants, the AWS data centers, initially, they have been divided into the regions. Every region is further divided into the availability zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, like that. Each zone should be allocated to the customer. Now there is question, participants here. There is a small question to every one of you here. Now what happens suddenly? Let us assume that, wait. So we have a customer. Okay, we have a customer here. Okay, customer is trying to take the services from the cloud provider, right? Customer is trying to take the services from the cloud provider. This customer data will be stored initially in the zone number 2. Suddenly, due to some issues, zone 2 is not available. So obviously, participants, if zone 2 is not available, so we can think that either you can get from 1 or 3. Suddenly, he was allocated with 1 also. Now, this is also not available. He was allocated with zone 3. This is also not available. Can anyone say me from where the customer will get access to the resources? Anyone can say me in the chat box, please. Now this entire region went down. From where the customer will, access the resources. Anybody has any idea, participants? Exactly, Vijay, like Vijay ma'am. So, like from the other region, we can definitely access the resources. If one region is going to be down, obviously the other region, which is secondary region, right? So, but even we have some disadvantages here. What are those? Since this is our primary region, since I am near to Hyderabad, so I will be taking Hyderabad data center. Participants, what happens if I take the data center which is very far away from my current location? What happens? Anyone can say me? When you choose the data center which is very far away from your current location, what kind of issues we are going to face? What is the problem that we are going to face? Can I say the problem which we face is latency? Yes or no? The latency is very, very important as well. So if you are near to Hyderabad, take Hyderabad data center. If you are near to Bombay, take Bombay data center. Let me show you that in the real time also, okay, that how this actually works, okay, through the internet. Go to the Google just, okay, just a minute. Participants, just what I will do is that quickly, okay, I will be going to the Google. Just simply what I'm doing is that, okay, so I will be just, writing here AWS, speed test. Okay. So when I write here AWS speed test, I'm getting some measurements here. Click on AWS latency test, measure data center latency. Click here. Yes. Now I want to select a region. Now I'm selecting the region Asia Pacific, Hyderabad data center, and I am selecting one region from America, that is US East, okay, North Virginia, and from Europe I'm selecting one data center which is Spain, and from Middle East and Africa I'm selecting Africa, and from Australia and New Zealand I'm selecting Sydney. Total 5 data centers I have selected here. After selecting 5 data centers, you can see the latency here. Can anyone say me that why the Hyderabad data center is showing at the top? Anyone can say me, please? Why Hyderabad data center is showing at the top? Why not Spain? Why not Sydney? Because I am near to Hyderabad. That's why it is showing Hyderabad as the base data center. Exactly, sir. Okay. So it's not kind of primary. It's actually the data center which you are currently operating. For example, Vijaya ma'am, if you're in Bombay, so obviously the nearest data center will be Mumbai. So that is not your primary, but your primary data center is Hyderabad. So here, rather than using the primary, I can say that the region which is very near to you, that is very important here. Now, if I locate somewhere around, northeast, all these things, exactly, ma'am. Northeast. So we will be choosing that. Okay. So this is not our primary region. This is actually the best suggested data center for our workload. Hope it is clear to everyone, right? Now I am near to Hyderabad. So obviously the Hyderabad is a suggested location. If I'm near to Sydney, this will not become my primary. My primary data center is Hyderabad. Since I am residing near to Sydney, so it will show at the top. This is just the speed comparison. Okay. So it will show all the things as well. Your current, network address, which location you are using, location of that one, everything. See participants, we can see everything here. So the geography is India, region, Asia Pacific region, Hyderabad region. So this much latency is there. Australia. Participants, you believe or not, the only data center which is very, 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 very far away from India is that Brazil. Okay. The Brazil will have the too much, the latency as well. See, you can also see Mumbai. We have Mumbai as well. Select Mumbai. Now, when I select Mumbai, see, Mumbai will come in the second position because I am in India. I am not in somewhere across, other countries, right? So now Mumbai will be in the second location. Hyderabad will be in the second location. Hope it is clear to everyone. So that's why participants latency is going to play an important, the role as well, which is the very, very, important as well. Okay. Now, that is what exactly participants, what I want to convey all of you. every region is divided into the availability zones. An availability zone is an independent data center, so where we try to get access to one of the zone as well. All right. So participants, that is something which I feel which is important for data centers as well. Okay. Now the second thing is that participants, I would like to inform you all of you that we will be doing the practical now on a particular service called AWS S3 as well. Okay. So let me show you the process how we can store the data on the AWS. So participants, I'm not showing you the process of how to create the AWS account. Just I will give a small tip. Just go to the Google and type, you can type simply what I already have AWS account. Simply you can what I can say that go to the Google and type, AWS, account create. So you will be able to get, account creation process very clearly. Okay. So for managing these things, participants, you have to create the AWS account. You need to sign up using your debit card, which is just for the verification purpose. Since we are using third-party platform, whenever we are using third-party platform, obviously it is very, very important as well. So we have AWS console sign up. Just click on it. So here we have to create the AWS account as well. It will be like that. So here we have root user email address. The root user email address is nothing but participants. It is actually the primary address as well. What is the primary address? We have to give here. Okay, participants. And account name also, you have to give the account name, then verify the email address. So automatically from there, you will understand the steps how to create the AWS account. We have to create the AWS account for the individual, not for the business. If you go for the business option, so you have to submit all the documents as well. Later they will be sending the notices where we have to send all these things. So you can simply create the AWS account for the individual and for the self development. Okay. So from here I cannot show you because already I have my AWS account. So later participants, I hope you will be creating the this particular account as well. After creating the account, the console somewhere it will look like this. The console will look like this. Okay. So in front of you, the AWS console is there. So simply just click on it. Okay. So this is the AWS console. Console is nothing but it's kind of GUI. So there are two ways to interact, either through commands, either through GUI. So the most preferred way is simply the GUI as well, because mostly each and everything we will be doing more greatly through the GUI as well. That is which is graphical user interface as well. Right, participants? Now the first thing, the name of the account, which is Apple. So you can give any name while creating the account name. You can give any name here. So here we have the important thing. So participants, you have to observe one thing very clearly over here. That is, whenever you are going to do any practical on the AWS platform, the most important thing is that you have to, you have to select the data center. Now here I'm selecting Mumbai data center. Why? Because whatever the data I want to store, I want to store in the Mumbai data center. Whatever the data centers available with me now, all the data, Hyderabad is not available with me due to some issue. So here we have the Mumbai as a primary region for me, because now the Mumbai will be used. Whatever the work I am doing here, all the work will be stored in the Mumbai location. All right. So this is the name of, this is the region selection, in which particular region I want to store my data. Asia Pacific region, Mumbai data center, I'm going to store it. Okay. Now here we can select, see this many services are there in the AWS. So obviously it's difficult to discuss all these things, right? So we have too many services which are being provided by the cloud provider. So we can manage everything, whatever exactly we required as well. So today we are going to discuss a service called, AWS S3 as well. Okay, AWS S3 as well. So click on S3, which is a scalable storage inside the cloud platform. But before going to the practical, obviously, we need to understand how actually S3 works. What is actually the simple storage service? What is the use of it? What is the procedure for that? So let me explain you first that so that we can proceed to the next steps. So participants, we can see here. So the service name is basically AWS, S3 as well. So S3 simply stands for Simple Storage Service. I repeat again, S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. The main use of this S3 is that using S3, you can create a S3 bucket as well. Let us assume that this is actually the S3 bucket. The first step is that you have to create the bucket. So here bucket is acting as a container. The moment you create the bucket, S3 bucket, you will be able to store the data inside the S3 bucket. So whatever the data you want to store, we have to store the data inside the S3 bucket. The bucket name should be unique. Whatever the name you are giving for the bucket, it should be unique as well. So no one should use the bucket name, the name which is given by one user. After creating the bucket, we have to do some bucket settings as well, like region and all those things. So in which particular region the bucket has to be stored. By default, the buckets are global in nature, right? Now, the second step, now I'm going to create AWS S3 as well, which is simple storage service, right? I'm going to create the container where I'm trying to store the data inside the S3 storage containers. The second thing is that after creating the bucket, I want to store the data. Let us assume that I have an image. The name of the image is XYZ. Okay. This image is being directly stored inside the S3 bucket because I want to store this image inside the S3 bucket. When I store this image inside the S3 bucket, this image will be completely treated as an object. The reason for that is that when you store this image inside the S3, it will be treated as the object. For every object, one unique URL will be created. One unique URL will be created, right? So the first thing we create the bucket. So after that, we have to store the data inside the S3 bucket. So which we call them as an object over here. Whatever the object is there, we have to access that particular object from anywhere. So either public access or private access, we have to understand them very clearly as well. Clear, participants? So AWS S3 is very important, which is simple storage service. Using this particular service where we can able to store the data, retrieve the data from anywhere, right? So this is one concept that we have to understand. Now actual things comes here. So what I'm saying is that now here I'm creating the bucket. Let us assume that I'm creating the the bucket as well. After creating the bucket, what I'm doing, I am trying to store the data inside the bucket as well. Like I'm storing XYZ as an image here. After storing this image, it will become as object. So we have unique URL for every object. What is the syntax of this URL? First is the protocol HTTPS. Then we will be having the name of the bucket, in which region this particular the bucket has been stored. Then object as well. What is the name of the object? That is XYZ as an object name. This will be the syntax of the URL when you store the data inside the S3 bucket. When you click this URL, you can see the object that you are going to store inside the S3 bucket. Clear, participants? So either we can go for the public access. Public access is not completely granted. When I say that public access, even public access can be there only using the concept of bucket public policy, where you have to upload bucket public policy. Using these policies, where we can provide the access to the all the things as well. Okay, which is very important as well. Hope it is clear to everyone as well. Clear, participants? We have to create S3 bucket, we have to store the data, and we can access the data. This is part number one. And participants, one more important thing, while you are providing the bucket name, there should be special characters which are actually involved as well. Like I should not give the name as one at the rate asterisk. Okay. And bucket name should not contain any special characters. Either it should start and end with either letter or number. You can go for anything. Clear, participants? So this is very important. Now, after this, so after storing the data, okay, it will become as object, I said very clearly. Now, we have a concept called in the S3, the concept of, export also. So we can also export the data to DynamoDB. From DynamoDB also, we can export the data to the this particular one. DynamoDB is basically a relational database service. Okay. Now, we have a concept called bucket versioning. What is exactly this bucket versioning? Bucket versioning is nothing but when I store the data inside the bucket, when I store the data inside the S3 bucket, the object may undergo multiple changes. For example, now I have accessed this object at x1 time and I have changed the properties of this object. Second time also I am trying to access at x2 time. Okay, I have changed these properties. Again I have accessed third time at x3 time. Again, I have changed some properties. So participants, using this bucket versioning, we can store each and every version, what exactly happened at each and every version. So using this bucket versioning, we can actually track the changes that has been happened to this particular object as well, right? So that is what exactly what I want to, convey you people as well. Okay, ma'am. So here we have to create a bucket. Then you have to store the data inside the S3 bucket and you need to access that bucket and even you can get the more amounts of, the benefits as well. Dear participants. So this is what exactly what I want to, convey you people as well. Okay. The moment you are going to create the bucket, so we can able to store the data and we can able to retrieve the data. So bucket versioning means simply creating multiple variants of same object. See, this is variant number one, variant number two, variant number three. So multiple variants of single object. So participants, I have a small question to everyone here. Can anyone say that, can I also host a static website how I am storing the object? In a similar fashion, can I also host a static website on the S3? Is it possible, participants? Say yes or no. Obviously, yes, excellent. Using this S3 bucket, I can simply host a static website as well because I'm storing the data. So why cannot also consider the website data as a static and why I cannot able to store it? I can store the data as well, right? Dear participants, so we can also store a static website as well. Whatever the data that you are going to store inside this AWS S3 bucket, the data is more secure as well. Okay. So we have a concept called pre-signed URL. We have a concept called, pre-signed URL. What is actually pre-signed URL? Now already I said that whenever you want to access the data from S3 bucket, so you have to access the data from the S3 bucket. So using the policy, how to access the data without policy? We have a concept called pre-signed URL. When I say pre-signed URL, this URL of this object will be only for specific amount of time, where you have to mention that this URL has to be active for either 2 hours, 3 hours, or within 24 hours as well. So till 24 hours, your URL will be completely public and where you can able to access it as well. So that is what exactly participants, what I want to, convey you people as well. Okay. Here I'm creating the S3 bucket where I'm going to store the data, where I'm trying to, retrieve the data as well. Okay. So pre-send URL means we can also access the data from S3 bucket using the concept of, a specific limit that is time limit. So I can send some time limit. After the time limit, it will become as private URL. No one will access. Means it will not become private URL. It will be expired. The link will not work even for me also, the owner of the bucket. When you store the data inside the S3 bucket, the owner of the bucket obviously, he or she will get access to the data as well, like which is very, very important as well. Clear participants, everyone? So this is actually an important as well, which is the very, very important as well, need to be taken into the considerations as well. Okay, we have this bucket versioning. So where we have these things, we have pre-signed URLs, and using these URLs, we can able to, access the things as well, which is the very, very, important as well. Clear participants? Now let us see some more concepts as well. I have bought, a good PPT about, S3 as well. All the PPTs will be shared with the participants, so no need to panic. So I will be sharing all the PPTs to the team. The team members will be sharing the PPT with all of you. So participants, we can discuss this, the S3 storage upload tomorrow as well because we are having very less time. So I have to cover these things as well. Okay. So we will be discussing in tomorrow's session directly the practicals right away. Okay. So here you can see understanding S3 in the more clear way as well, so that we can understand these things as well. Okay. So let us understand these things in the clear cut manner. Understanding AWS S3. So AWS S3, which is simple storage service, is like a gain digital locker in the cloud where you can store any type of file safely as well, because whatever the data exactly you're planning for, you can store the data, you can also retrieve the data as well. Think of it is an unlimited online storage space that's always available from anywhere with the internet access as well, because simple storage service is exactly the very important as well, where we can able to store the data, where we can able to retrieve the data as well. Okay. Companies and developers use S3 to store everything from photos and videos to backup files and application data. Because generally, I said now, you'll be managing something on the on-premises. For something, you'll be depending upon the cloud provider as well. That is what exactly they have been mentioned as well. Okay, we can use the S3 for storing the data, and also we can retrieve the data as well, and also we can manage the data as well, which is the very important as well. Clear, participants? This is what exactly what I want to convey you people as well. Like whatever the data is there, we can get that particular data. Even we can able to manage them as well, right? Which is very important as well. So companies and developers use S3 to store everything from photos and videos as well, all the way, because whatever the data exactly we want to store, we can store it, and even we can able to retrieve it as well, because it is very important as well. Hope it is clear to everyone, because the data is more secure, and even it is the reliable as well. Okay, because we can access the S3 data from anywhere, so where we can manage the data as well, and even where we can also get the more amount of the benefits and the advantages as well. Okay. And yeah, see, what does S3 actually provide participants? We have good points over here. Object storage. I already said very clearly, the data is not broken into the pieces like how the data is broken down in the traditional storage. It's not like that. The object will be as it is. How many objects you are going to store? So we can retrieve that many objects as well. So that is what they have been mentioned. Store the files as a complete objects, not broken into the pieces like traditional storage as well. So the moment you are going to store the data will be treated as the object, and for every object, one object URL will be created. For every object, one object URL will be created as well. Okay, ma'am. And we have internet-based access. Internet-based access simply means that you can access the resources from anywhere simply having the internet as a major connection. Without proper internet connection, we are not supposed to access anything. So we can access all our files, all our information directly from the internet only, which is very important as well. Hope it is clear to everyone. And the high durability as well. So durability means your files are extremely safe and won't get lost, because whatever the data you're going to store inside the cloud platform, you can store that data, even you can able to access the data from anywhere as well. Hope it is clear to everyone. So that is what exactly I'm saying, participants. Okay, high availability, and high durability and high availability as well. So we can access our data the moment we are going to store inside the AWS S3 platform. We can access the data from anywhere. Okay, 24/7, that is without any downtime as well. Okay. So these all are the some of the the things that how S3 provides. There are some key concepts as well that are made simple. As I said very clearly that S3 is very simple, easy to create. Okay, like we have a bucket concept. Generally, we create the bucket to store the data. It is like a container, so or the folder. I can say that a container, the folder that holds your files, like a main storage box with a unique name as well. Example could be my photos bucket and all these things as well. Okay, so S3 bucket is a kind of container or the folder that holds your files like a main storage box with a unique name as well, which is the very important as well. So next we have the object as well. So object is the actual file that is being stored in the bucket. Already I said very clearly that whatever the data that you are going to store inside the S3 bucket, it will be treated as the object, right? So the actual file you stored in the cloud bucket can be any type: photo, video, document, or code file. Each object can be up to 5 TB in size. Participants, this is one of the important point where you can remember. The object size should be up to 5 TB. If it is more than 5 TB, you should upload using Cloud Shell. Cloud Shell is a shell where you have to write the commands to create S3 bucket and all these things as well. Hope it is clear to everyone. So the key concept, the key is nothing but a kind of URL, like the unique key or the path of your object within a bucket works like a file address as well. Example, vacation slash beachphoto.jpg. So for every object, one unique key will be created, the kind of URL. So where you can able to access that URL and where you can able to, manage it as well. Okay. So this is actually the S3 concept as well. We have S3 bucket, we have object as well, and we have keys as well, which is the very, very, important as well. So how AWS actually works? So a simple, it is very simple and easy to understand as well. So how actually AWS works? First of all, we have to upload all the files from your computer and upload them to the S3 bucket. Just now I have explained you. The first step is that we have to, create a S3 bucket. After creating the S3 bucket, so we have to store our data inside the S3 bucket and we need to access the data. So after that, we have to store the data as well. So AWS stores your files across multiple data centers automatically for safety and the backup as well. So we'll be using the AWS data centers especially for storing. So for the backup, we can also use them. Access. We can retrieve the files anytime using unique URL or through AWS interface as well, like Cloud Shell. So we can simply access the objects that has been stored over the platform as well. Delete. Remove the files. You no longer need to free up space and reduce the cost. I already said in the starting of the class that the moment you are going to store the data inside the S3 bucket, so till you are not going to delete that, the AWS keeps on charging you. The bill will be generated every month. The moment your workload is done, the moment your work is done, you have to delete that particular object as well. That is what they have been mentioned. Remove files. You no longer need to free up space and reduce the cost as well. The cost of the infrastructure can be reduced as well by deleting the resources which are actually not required for you. Hope it is clear to everyone. A secure storage locker facility. Storage facility is like kind of AWS data center. Okay, where we are going to store the data and where we are going to retrieve the data as well. And your locker unit is S3 bucket. Okay, like kind of locker that we have. And after that, we have items in the locker. So whatever the data is there, so we have these items as well, which is very, very important as well. Need to be taken into the considerations. Okay, and the locker number equal to bucket name. Like see how well they have organized. So AWS data center means storage facility. Your locker unit means what? Individual locker unit S3 bucket. Items in the locker, that is objects, how many objects you have been, data as well. Locker number means the name of the bucket, what name you have given on the bucket. Label on each item equal to object key. Access key equal to your AWS credentials, that how do you access the objects that has been stored inside the S3 bucket. Hope it is clear to everyone. You can add or remove items from any time, and the facility keeps everything safe 24 by the 7 as well. Okay. So this is something participants use cases, media storage. You can use especially this particular storage for storing the data, backup and archival process. Mainly we also use this, S3 for storing the data and also managing these things. Okay, and all the parameters, media storages as well, which is very, very important as well. And the backup and archival process, okay, whatever the data is there, we have to understand them and we have to manage those things. And website hosting, we can also use this S3 for hosting the websites as well. Okay. So like that, we have to manage, and student projects also we can host it on the S3. You can also host your resumes and all the things as well. Okay. So all these things are very, very, important as well. Okay. So these are some of the common use cases we generally have under AWS S3 as well, which is very, very important as well. Hope it is clear. So what are the different things that AWS manages and what are the different things that you manage? AWS is responsible for managing physical hardware, data replication across regions. Your data will be completely replicated if you choose the replication strategy. Infrastructure security and maintenance. Obviously, like we'll be worrying about the infrastructure and we'll be worrying about the security and the maintenance as well. On the systems updates and patches, like we should provide the system updates and the patches. Network connectivity as well, like we should worry about the network connectivity, but entire things will be managed by the cloud provider from their side. You don't worry about the server's power or physical security because all these things would be taken care by the cloud provider. What you will manage? Creating and managing naming buckets, uploading and organizing the data in the clear manner. Whatever the data exactly you want to upload, you can upload the data. Setting access permissions. Who has access to the data? That will be decided by the customer. Deciding who can view or edit the files, monitoring the usage and the cost as well. So in the S3 participants, we have complete control over the infrastructure. Whatever the control is there, the entire control will be managed by the cloud provider. So we have S3 complete control over the infrastructure. Advantages, we have all these things as well. Limited scalability because not limited, sorry, unlimited scalability. So unlimited scalability means what? You can get the more infrastructure, highly secure. Whatever the data you store inside the cloud platform, it is more secure. Extremely durable. Already I said that whenever you store the data inside the S3, you get the better durability. Extremely durable, pay as you use. So how much storage you're using, that much you have to pay to the cloud provider. Limitations, internet dependency. Without internet, obviously, we cannot access anything. Your security responsibility as well. You must configure permissions correctly. Mistakes can expose your data publicly because configurations are very important. The settings. One wrong setting can affect your entire infrastructure. So that particular thing we have to take care into the considerations. Okay, and your security responsibility. Cost can add up because if you store huge amount of data and you forget to delete them, the cost will increase, right? And learning the curve. So understanding bucket of policies and access controls can take time for the beginners because the people who are initially learning for the first time, it will take some time to understand actually how the things works. But if you understand the concept, everything will be clear as well. Because bucket policies defines the permissions, what kind of permissions we have on the objects, whether object is completely public or not. We have to decide that whether we have to provide the public access or what kind of access we want to provide. We need to decide those things as well. Okay, quick recap what we have done. So already the summary has been done. Kindly participants, please provide the answers for the same thing. What is the difference between a bucket and the object in S3? Name three common use cases for AWS S3. Please, everyone. I appreciate the answers in the chat box. Please, everyone. So, kindly give the answers for the questions. What is the difference between a bucket and an object in the S3? And name the, what I can say that three use cases for the AWS S3. So, your responses will be highly appreciated. I request. So, object can be anything like photo or file. Very good, ma'am. So, very good, Deepika, ma'am. Object stores in the bucket container. Excellent. So name three common use cases for the AWS S3. Student projects. Excellent, sir. Rashikar, sir. Student projects, media, right? And we can store a lot many things. Bucket is used to store the objects. Exactly, ma'am. Yeah. So I can see that responses in the chat box. Yeah. So participants, yeah, so that's it for the day. Okay. So hope you got clear understanding about AWS S3 buckets. In the tomorrow session, starting we'll be implementing the practical. Directly, I will be showing you how to create S3 buckets, how to store the data, how to retrieve the data, how to enable bucket versioning, how to host a static website on the S3 bucket, and how to access that website. So we'll be seeing all these things in the next session as well. So yeah, so that's it from my side. So anything else, please, you can write in the chat box. I can answer your queries. Hope it is clear to everyone participants. Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll wind up for the day. We'll meet again by tomorrow. Thank you so much for your valuable session.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, guys, participants, everyone. So see you all the tomorrow session. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank